it. It's at version 0.5 right now, but I am working on a 1.0 release.
Alright, so we should be getting a countdown shortly. I anticipate this will be a prompt race, depending on how things go. It will be a Zardia production, so we might see some really nasty enemies toward the end.
Yeah, your seeds are... They could be a little torturous at times. I saw Ice 3 in the Black Magic shop, so pretty good early on. Heal 2 in the white. Oh, there's a nuke also. Got all the bases covered.
Level 1 nuke is going to make this probably a quick race for Tristal here.
Both
like
characters... sorry, both players have 2 characters that could take advantage of that nuke.
So getting started should not be a problem. They should be out the gate running here very quickly. We saw pro rings available in the armor shop, so that might be something to make a note of on these runners for later.
Very helpful, especially with all the stuff that's shuffled in this randomizer. If you want to go ahead and explain to the viewers just what's all mixed up.
Yes, for our Swiss rounds, we have the treasures are obviously shuffled, along with the NPC items. Now, there's also fetch quests. So fetch quest is a little different. Fetch quest is things like the crown, the crown, the herb, the crystal, the key. These will always go in the same order for these flags. However, later in the tournament, as NPC shuffle becomes a little more complex, we will see that they will offer a plethora of different items. Also shuffled are enemy stats, enemy scripts, enemy abilities. If you are looking for a complete list of all the flag randomizations, please check out our website. And it looks like Tristal has found the canoe and the floater. So those are the best 2 items you could hope to find in regards to exploration.
Pretty much opens up the entire map from the start. You'd think you'd need the bridge or the ship at least, but there's also been a few map edits that allow for greater access to the lower continent early.
Yes, that's correct. Open progression is now on. And as Terralyn stated, this allows you to reach more areas on the map that you normally would not be able to without the ship, the canoe, or the airship.
That said, you gotta cover a lot of ground to reach where the airship is. That doesn't change.
Yeah, that's correct. Without an early bridge, you have to go the long route to get to the desert with the canoe, the Ryukon Desert. And Tristal is on his way now. I anticipate he might take a battle or 2 on the way there, but we shall see. It looks like he's go-moding so far.
That is right. You have to take a route that goes by the Dwarf Cave, Northwest Castle, gotta go by Elfland and take some rivers. It is not an easy road by any means.
Yeah, you can run into a number of things that could go wrong. There's quite a few enemy groups on the way there. There's a high chance that one of them will have some type of AoE spell. I don't know if Tristal bought cabins or not. It looks like the Grey Wolves have Stun Touch, so that could be something we see later. Oh, and it looks like Demerine takes a wipe there in Temple of Fiends as those wolves were unrunnable.
You never want to see an unrunnable that early, especially something as annoying as wolves.
So Terralyn, with your floater and canoe, what's your play here? Are you going straight for the airship? Or are you going to stop for a battle or 2? Maybe check out some of the shops?
I would definitely take a battle or 2 on the way to Elfland. There's always a chance that something you run into in the rivers or over by the Crescent Lake area is unrunnable, and at extremely low levels, even with level 1 nuke, it can get very difficult to deal with those enemies. Especially right now as Demerine is at only level 3. She's going to need some levels before dealing with that.
Oh, and it looks like Demerine takes a wipe there in Temple of Fiends as those wolves were unrunnable. So Terralyn, with your floater and canoe, what's your play here? Are you going to stop for a battle or 2? Maybe check out some of the shops?
I would definitely take a battle or 2 on the way to Elfland. There's always a chance that something you run into in the rivers or over by the Crescent Lake area is unrunnable, and at extremely low levels, even with level 1 nuke, it can get very difficult to deal with those enemies. Especially right now as Demerine is at only level 3.
get a look at Black Magic. Fast Stop available in level 3 Black Magic shop.
Level 3 fast is extremely valuable. You're going to end up with a lot of charges, meaning you can, when you get to the end of the game and Temple of Fiends Revisited, you can pretty much spam it in every boss fight.
Also, Light and Zap available. Etap in the chat is our resident magic scholar. He will be keeping most of us up to date on all the magic. He's been a regular in the tournament, so thank you to Etap for being there for us.
Yep, that is some very useful info, especially as fast as some of these runners are going. Let's just say my eyes ain't what they used to be.
Question in the chat, is Pro versus Noob the best this stream could do? Well, we had a discussion on the first round of the Swiss matchups, and it was decided that they would be made random, as things will kind of work themselves out in the Swiss rounds. As you know, we have runners with similar records that will be working together.
It is faster. It can also be more treacherous because there's a wider variety of enemies compared to the river.
Tristal is taking on some of these Hydras now, and he will probably gain levels very quickly.
That is another factor. The river enemies are actually pretty good for experience early in the game.
Demerine making her way over to the Earth Cave now. And she will find a heal and a cabin, not very useful. It's gonna be Dwarf Cave.
Ooh, Tristal taking a fighter death. While he is pretty close to the airship, it could still be annoying. And you also saw Demerine running into the intro. It's just the weirdness of the way the game's coded. That's not something our devs put in. That's vanilla behavior. If you hit where the canal would be and the piece of land that goes away, it treats it as a bridge, so it plays the intro.
So Tristal is the first to his airship. He's looking to revive now, and he will probably head over to the stages upon checking the shops and find out what item they're going to give up. And we discover the cube for sale in the item shop in Crescent at about 11,300 gold. So let's make a note of that.
Cheap. And the loot, which, while it doesn't open up any progression in the early game, is mandatory for endgame.
And speaking of the loot, there it is. The sages give up the loot. So we are only looking for the crown now, which will lead to the key, and essentially that is go mode, along with the Oxyale, and the chime will be needed as well.
The rod will also be needed. Well, there's the bottle on Tristal's screen, which will lead to the ferry, which gives the Oxyale, opening up the sea shrine. However, seeing if he decides to go there immediately or look for another path, we got plenty of options available in this early game.
Yeah, with the bottle now in play, everything opens up here. It will be really interesting to see where Tristal decides to go for his initial dive.
Level 2 exit is available, so a trip to the mermaids would not be out of the question.
Tristal making his way to Provoca. We're going to get a look at level 2 white magic. Exit, harm 2, cure 2, and harm 3 available. Along with stun, lock, blind, and slow, I believe.
Tristal's nuke makes very short work of the pirates, and we're going to see Vicky gives him a tail. So class change is definitely easy in this seed. It would be beneficial for these runners to do it early since neither one is running a black belt, and every other class we see right here actually benefits from the earlier change.
Yes, we are not even 10 minutes in yet, and Tristal has already found, I believe, 4 or 5 progression items and extremely useful NPC items. So we're definitely looking at what's going to be a prompt race here.
And he's visiting your islands, raiding your chests. We do like to call this area the Zardia Isles.
Yeah, this is a good play. There's usually at least one good item to be found here, and there it is. We have the Adamant. So he's going to have access to Excalibur immediately here.
This makes Jet Seeds look slow.
Who rolled this seed?
Gee, I wonder.
Demerine taking on some giants here. She's going to be well rewarded. Oh, she did not get them. She decided to run. So we've got an 11-minute class change for Tristal.
Looks like Demerine won't be too far behind. She's in Provoca, so getting ready to take on the pirates.
I mean, thus far, this is the type of seed that a runner would
Oh
only
my-
dream about.
Oh my god, we have a Masmian sighting too.
Looks like we have a ribbon there as well. So just a loaded setup now.
This is an extremely front-loaded seed. I think I'm gonna have to get the info for later for playtesting purposes.
Tristal looks like he's going to pick up Excalibur now. He will probably send the Masmian over to someone else. White Mage.
Or on the Red Mage. Red Mage is not exactly a slouch when it comes to the attack department.
Hey Falconic, we had Death Touch for one of the Fiends last night. That's bad enough.
Oh, I saw that. Wasn't that Death Touch Tiamat?
Yes, not cool. Tristal looks like he's going to head on into Titan's Trove here. And we're going to see what the Titan has been holding. And we have another ribbon found in Titan's Trove. So it keeps getting better here in regards to early chests.
I'm starting to think all the stuff like the low gold and the potions and stuff got moved to someplace late like Sky Castle.
As Demerine picks up Masmune and Ribbon, she's also raiding the islands right away. So it looks like Demerine has done some practice here. She knows that this is a good spot to hit early. And for a new runner, I think that she's gotten off to a decent start here. Question in chat, have we seen Warp? No, I don't think we've seen Warp yet, Ali. Wall X for Invisible 2 in the level 4 White Magic Shop. Ice 2, Lock 2, Sleep, and Saber available in the level 4 Black Magic Shop.
It's too bad that Saber really doesn't have much use as the spell. What you really want to see is the Power Bonk with it on it.
Yeah, Power Bonk is always better, but I like Saber. I like to find Saber, especially if I have something like Massa, Vorpal, Katana available. I will try to pick it up if possible for a Red Mage or a Ninja. Demerine now going to get her class change. So both players class change about 15 minutes here. I think that's the quickest class change I've seen from both thus far in the tournament.
Definitely a level 6 class change on Demerine's side. That's gotta be a record.
As we see a Saria sighting on Demerine's screen, that's going to cue the FFR polls. Please participate in the FFR Spring Tournament polls. Your votes count. Your votes will determine the party that the runners will be running for the bonus stream, as Demerine picks up her Adamant.
I've already cast my vote for that. Let's just say I want to see an even more trolly option than the last one we had.
Yes, the viewers love a trolley run, and I believe 4 Black Mages was in the lead last I saw. So that would definitely make for a trolley run. And we've got those polls up now in the chat for you, so be a part. Go get your votes in. Looks like Tristal is on his way to the waterfall here. Again, electing for the open chests and the items. We're going to see what the robot has here from the waterfall.
We already know the cube is in a shop, so it could be a bunch of different options, but not that one. Which is good. I'm getting a little tired of vanilla. And we have a slap sighting in the waterfall. And a white shirt, this very important item for endgame. It casts invisibility 2, invis 2, so very good defensive option.
Thanks, Lori, for the updated links there.
Heal 3 at level 5. Looks like it's only gonna be learnable by the white mage now.
Some good magic available, including Light 2, Rub, and Fire 3 in the level 5 Black Magic Shop.
The fun thing is, as fast as they're going, both runners, it'll actually be a while before either one can even cast those spells.
Demerine now going to pick up Excalibur. So there's a lot of debate about the best sword in this game, and again, our voting is open for your choice on the best knight sword. All of them have unique abilities to be offered. Massa gives you the highest damage overall, can be used by any character. Excalibur, since the weapons have now been fixed in the randomizer, it exploits any weakness that an enemy will have, be it elemental or anything like that. So it's really good against packs and regular enemies. However, it's not quite as strong against endgame fiends, as its critical hit is quite low. You would definitely want to go with Massmune or Vorpal against a high absorb, high evade boss type enemy.
That is true. It really all depends on your group. If you only have the one heavy fighter, then you definitely would want that one heavy fighter using the Massmune at the end game. But if you have two and something happens, it's nice to have that one backup swinging the Excalibur and the other swinging the Massmune.
Yeah, together with Excalibur and Massmune, they have a very high DPS in regards to physical attacks. And I believe Fast was available as well. So that's only going to increase that. Unless we see a really high Absorb Evade Gatekeeper, they're going to be cutting things up very quickly with those swords.
Demerine is making a trip into the volcano now.
Silver bracelets in the Gaia armor shop. So Demerine is the first into one of our orb areas. And she's probably going to be exploring the armory here. We call this floor the armory in Volcano, the second floor, as there's a high concentration of chests there.
That is true, and even though the devs will tell you there's no added logic or anything like that, I have definitely found a high number of progression items in various runs through there in the armory. It could be sheer concentration, it could be luck.
Tristal was almost on his way to Leafin there to get the chime. However, I don't think he's translated the slab yet, and our tracker will confirm that he had not translated it. So a near mistake there by Tristal, but he avoids disaster. Gold bracelets in the armor shop in Melmond at the maximum price.
One danger that Demerine's running into right now, she has gotten a few levels since class change, but you're running through the volcano at a sub-level 10 on a lot of characters. If you run into a very hard fight, you find you may not have the hit points to survive it, especially if one of the enemies throws out a surprise thing like a nuke or even a poison or thunder attack.
Yes, those are good points, and you have to kind of be vigilant when you first make your dive to be looking out for these things. Because oftentimes when you do wipe, even though you lose time, you at least have the information, and that can save you in the long run.
It definitely can. There's been many times where a failed dive has at least showed me, okay, the chests are garbage, it's not worth diverting, going out of my way for most of them. I can just take more of a laser focus on, go straight for the boss at the end, and minimize the risk of running into what wiped me again.
Tristal's gonna make us all hungry here and nuke some steak and wings.
Well, speak for yourself, I'm more of a Team Tyro type.
We certainly have a divided community when it comes to Tyros. Tristal taking some zombles as he goes to pick up the chime. So Tristal has completed nearly every NPC progression quest already here.
Pretty much all he's missing right now is the rod to just flat out pick and choose which fiend he wants to go after first and do it all in one shot.
We have certainly seen a lot for 24 minutes. We've had previous matches where we have only had 1 or 2 items within this amount of time, so this seed is definitely unique thus far.
Oh, you can definitely see a little bit of Demarine's inexperience with this game specifically, not knowing the optimal route through this level of the volcano. Going a little out of the way, adding a couple of unnecessary steps, which, while you're on the lava, you get no encounters, but while you're on the non-lava tiles, you keep incrementing that step count up.
Yes, JLo confirming that the cube was in the shop in Crescent Island, and I believe it was 11,300 gold. So with Chime in hand, are we going to see Tristal head into Mirage here? We are not. Looks like he's going to Ordeals.
And Demerine finding out that the Grey Worms are unrunnable.
Yes, it looks like she's not aware of the spike tiles in Volcano. And she does have Massa, though. They should make short work of the Grey Worms, but lose a little bit of time on that.
And there's a Bane Sword sighting that could prove very handy if some of the bosses turn out to be a little tough on the defensive side.
Yes, we are pleased to have Demerine in the tournament running, as she is mostly running free enterprise. We welcome any new runners to the community. If you like what you see here, please join our Discord. You can keep up with all the latest there in regards to the tournament. If you would like to learn the randomizer, we have an extremely helpful community. We have a channel devoted to helping new runners as well. And we are quite active, and we are a growing community as the tournament is hitting stride now. This is the first round of our Swiss tournament, and we're only looking to expand from here. So come on by and join us. Have some fun.
Definitely, and this is actually a fairly easy randomizer to get into compared to some of them. At least it's easy to start. Thank you for the 250-bit cheer, Bill Bottix. Speed Gaming definitely appreciates it.
Demerine electing not to try an Agama grind. She's headed straight for carry, it looks like. Opting to skip the Red Dragon chest.
Yeah, with Massa and Xcal, she's got enough offensive firepower, barring absurdly high absorb carry, so we'll see if this pays off or not.
I don't know if she has any healing spells, but she's very low on heal pots. This could be a big gamble here.
Looks like she just burned her last one, in fact. For a recap, let's just say this has been a jet seed from the beginning. From Caneria Castle, the runners got the canoe and the floater, and it only went off to the races from there.
Yes, Princess Sarah and the King gave the canoe and the floater respectively. We found that the sages in Crescent Island had the loot. We had Sarda giving us the bottle, which led to the Oxyale, and the Adamant was in the Zardia Islands, allowing for Excalibur, and the slab was also found quite early. I believe it was... I don't remember what the slab was, but Massa was in the Zardia Islands as well.
The slab was in Waterfall, given by the robot.
Okay, yes, that's correct. Slab was in Waterfall, given by robot.
And as you're seeing on Demarine's screen, the cube was the vendor item.
And yes, the Zardia Islands, that is the New Age name for the islands.
Looks like Demerine actually managed to light off that orb, so carry not a big issue, and now going to the ice cave.
So Demerine the first to light the orb here. Tracker, can we get the left orb, the far left orb lit? That is the fire orb. You currently have the water orb lit. As we see Demerine going to dive the ice cave now, looking for the incentive in here. So we've had quite a divergence of pathing here and routing by the runners. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out mid to late game.
True. Demerine is going mostly for incentives and orbs early, while Tristal is working through all the progression items.
Thank you, Tracker, for the updated orb. So Tristal's going to turn in the Dankest of Herb now to pick up the key. So he will have access to the Mystic Key chests. It'll be interesting to see if he digs those. I think at this point he will. He seems intent on digging all the chests he can early. And Tristal is known as a master of execution. So once he has the items he wants and his dig completed, he will probably go all-out go mode and skip everything else.
You do need some progression. In order to light 3 of the 4 orbs, you need special items. You need the Rod, the Oxyale, and the Chime and Cube. You also need the keychain, because there are a couple doors in Temple of Fiends Revisited that are key-locked.
So at 30 minutes in, we have all the NPCs except Narek and his TNT lit up for Tristal. And he's going to dig the Dwarf Cave chests to find out if there's anything good in there. Just a mad dash of a race here currently.
There's actually another locked door in TOFR as well, on Carrie's floor. I happened to notice it by accident the other day.
Yes, that's correct. A lot of people are still unaware that there are Mystic Key locks in lower TOFR. As we see Demerine picking up a light axe in the ice cave. So chat, what do you think? Where is the rod? The rod is pretty much the only item that is required left to find for Tristal. Where do you think we might find that? Will it be in an incentive location? In Ice Cave? Will Demerine find it?
This seed is just pouring out good weapons. We're seeing the Sun Sword drop, which is about the... I want to say about the 4th best sword for a knight, 3rd or 4th.
Looks like Tristal found an Aegis shield there. And yeah, he did waterfall already, so we've eliminated that. Yes, he is the rusty robot in the waterfall.
What it is basically the first item in a fetch quest chain can be randomized. So, for example, we found the crown in Ordeals. But then as you go through the fetch quest chain, the crown to the crystal to the herb, that's all in the normal intended order.
I don't think Tristal did check the key locks there in Temple of Fiends. He's probably looking to save time and avoiding the gargoyle encounters. I think he's got his intent on the incentive item here. He's probably hoping that it's the rod.
Without warp, it does mean he'll have to run through the entire ice cave at least once. Although both these runners do have exits, so once is all it'll take.
So with all the divergence we had earlier, we find both runners coming into Ice Cave now at the 34-minute mark. I haven't seen anything too scary in this Ice Cave thus far. We might see a bit of an eye grind here, as the eye isn't a very efficient enemy to grind.
They are in the same place, but don't be fooled, they have not progressed exactly the same. As I said earlier, Demerine going more for the orb in the beginning, while Tristal has been filling out his progression.
We're gonna get our first look at the eye here and the incentive item in Ice Cave.
And it is the rod.
Wow, so there we have it. We have our mapped chain of items now. We know where they're all at. I would say at this point, Tristal still has a lead. He's going to find that rod shortly. Demerine's going to need some very efficient routing to catch him.
That's right, Tristal is pretty much in go mode once he picks up that rod.
Demerine is opting for the eye grind here. This is another practice move here. Most newer runners would not know to grind the eye.
True, the eye has very good experience. Although with the unrunnable shuffle, you do risk an ambush from it now.
Question in chat about Tristal wanting a third ribbon. We have not seen a third ribbon yet. However, with the wall spell available, I don't think he'll be digging for a ribbon. Looks like Demerine is going to head straight into Earth Cave and put that rod to immediate use. So let's see if we find anything extra nasty here in the Earth Cave. So far the seed has been quite forgiving with the enemies we've seen. I don't think I've really seen anything of a big danger as of yet.
Nothing so far, but in some of these matches, Earth Cave has been proven to be a stumbling block. There's such a wide variety of enemies here, and virtually anything could be shuffled anywhere.
Shoutouts to Bent Glass Tube on this tracking layout. Speed Gaming has adapted it a bit. However, the skeleton itself was courtesy of Bent Glass Tube. Great work from him, as always, on our interactive tractors. As far as I know, we are the only randomizer tournament format that has an interactive tracker with a background that changes with the runners according to where they are running.
No doubt, it's a very nice setup.
Demerine getting deeper into the Earth Cave now, and we see that Spectres have Frost. Given her ribbons, I don't think that will be much of an issue for her. So, should be no problem getting through them.
It really depends on how many of them you face. It can do a respectable amount of damage to a non-ribbon character, and her levels are still a little on the low side. She's at about 15 or so.
So both runners kind of mirroring each other now, as Tristal is into the Earth Cave with the rod, and we'll probably look to clear that out quickly. So will we see a dig of the 4th floor of Earth? Some runners like to skip this floor. Others like to dig it as they find something good here from time to time.
The first room in particular has 5 chests, making it a pretty decent stop.
We're going to see how well she studied her maps here, as the 4th floor of Earth can get a little confusing for newer runners. And as usual, our vampire is here and gone.
With as much firepower as these 2 runners have, blink and you miss it.
Both runners appear to be nearing a high 5 status, as they are both on the 4th floor of Earth Cave now.
Runnable wizards, that is a very nice sight from someone who gets tormented by them often enough.
Demerine is now approaching Lich, the Fiend of the Earth, and we're going to get our first look. I assume Lich will probably go down quickly, as is usually the case.
That he did.
And we have the Earth Orb lit, so Demerine first to 2 orbs, with Tristal right behind her.
We see Demerine picking up Zap and Elflin. It's an interesting option. It doesn't always hit, but sometimes it'll hit just enough.
Yes, with the fix to the X for spell now, your spells like Zap, Quad X, Bane, they kind of, gain stock a little bit, as your percentage is increased to hit on boss-type creatures if Xfer should land. There's just been so many fixes and tireless work by our devs. We love our devs in this community. They work every day, day and night, interacting in the community in our voice chat. Just the greatest community. And the randomizer is looking to take a new direction in the not-so-far future, as some people have definitely seen the entrance shuffle that's been going around in the beta stages.
Observation from Fuchsia Fantasy. Yeah, a power gauntlet would be great for either of these runners. We haven't really seen Temper yet. We're not even sure if it'll be usable once it is found.
Yes, that's true. We know Fast is available. We know Saber is available as well, but that's not going to help the Knight. The Power Bonk is going to be possibly important depending on how the Fiends have rolled their enemy stats late. I have not seen the Vorpal yet either, so that would make the Power Gauntlet even more viable.
And while we've been talking about all that, Tristal has made extremely short work of the volcano and fighting Carrie now. She fires off a dart to start. It's going to take a second round to get rid of her.
Alright, well, I'm just getting word over the wire here, as Tristal brings down Carrie and is going to light his fire orb, that Speed Gaming has offered us a slot later this evening for an exhibition race of the entrance shuffle. So if you like what you see here and you like some even more craziness with an entrance shuffle, we are going to put that together for you post-race.
Oh, wow. I might actually have to get in on that.
We are looking at about a 7:30 p.m., 10:30 p.m. Eastern time to start. Thank you, Ikman Maya, for the 1,000 bits. And yes, the entrance shuffle is hype. It gives this game another dimension. As if it didn't have enough already with the randomizer, now we have this entering into the mix, and it's like, wow. Alright, so we have Tristal heading over to Onrak now, and he's probably going to head into the Sea Shrine. Ruse and Cure 4 at level 7 White Magic. Ice and Lightning 3 at level 7 Black Magic. Demerine now headed over to the Cave of Ordeals. As we all like to call it, it's the Water Cave, the Ordeals Cave, the Sky Cave.
So here we see where Tristal's laser focus early on progression items is benefiting him now. He's in go mode and just wiping the floor with these dungeons. He doesn't have to stop for anything else. He's all set up to go.
Demerine now navigating the Ordeals teleporters. We'll see how her homework has paid off here in regards to knowing which teleporter to take after you have taken the wrong one. Trista will check the Sharknado room, and he finds a Zeus Gauntlet. So, he's deep in Sea Shrine now, but this will definitely pay off in the water floor of Temple of Fiends Revisited.
True, most of the enemies there are weak to lightning, the main exception being the water elementals.
Looks like he is electing to take a few encounters on the way. I think he's definitely thinking about his levels right now, as Temple of Fiends is definitely in his sight currently.
Smart move. He only has one Fiend dungeon left to go, and as it stands right now, 17 is a very low level to be going in the Temple of Fiends with. You typically want low 20s at the lowest.
Moving into Sky Castle, there's some very high experience encounters in there. So we'll probably see him take a few on the way up to Tiamat. And we might even see a War Mech, who knows?
We've seen an awful lot of War Mechs in this tourney. Kraken goes down, the fighter getting by the skin of his teeth.
And Tristal, lighting the water orb. He has one to go. He has a clear path through the Mirage Tower and Sky Castle. How will he play this?
Yeah, and Demerine still has to visit Lefane, still has to pick up the Oxyel, still has to grab the slab out of the waterfall cave. Game's starting to get away at this point, but Temple of Fiends can even things out in a hurry, especially if you run into a high defense, hard hitting later Fiend.
Yes, that's correct. We've seen runners lose 20, 30, even 40 minutes in Temple of Fiends Revisited simply because they are unable to get by a roadblock. Like Tristal's going to take this encounter. 5 wizard mummies, that's going to be a good chunk of experience for him.
Oh, very.
Knowing your encounters is another aspect of this randomizer that you really have to know. Like, you don't want to take a battle that will cost you a lot of time and not give you a good experience gold reward. So knowing your enemies, knowing what gold and experience they drop, that's important.
It's especially important to know not just the big groups like these, but also your single enemies. You have to know what you have on hand. If you're AoE strong, like both these groups, encounters with a lot of smaller enemies that pile up to give a ton of experience, like the Wiz Mummy, is very good, but if you were more had one strong weapon user and not much else, you might be looking for that one solo enemy like an Eye that gives a lot of experience on its own.
There's just so much meta to the randomizer now, and it continues to expand. It's boggling how much meta there is now.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to sell Demerine short. She's putting up a very good effort, especially with her low experience in this randomizer.
Yes, this is her first race in the tournament, and I think one of her first randomizer races altogether in this randomizer. And I must say she's performed quite well, considering everything that was available early. She's done some pretty solid routing. She has 2 orbs lit. She's on her way to completing the progression chain. This is going to be a very good time for her as well, in theory.
We see the Blue Dragon taking more than one hit to put down, and a mummy group getting in the way before he could teleport up to the Sky Castle.
We've seen a lot of really solid performances from newer runners in this tournament, and it's been very refreshing. It's really nice to see that people are practicing, they are taking their time to learn the randomizer, and they're being competitive. And of course, the viewers like to see competition, but it's nice to see it from the runners as well, being motivated. And of course, we have prizes in this tournament as well. There are going to be prizes offered for the semi-finalists and for the overall winner, as there were last tournament. So that's going to make it, even more lucrative to some of these runners.
We see Tristal checking the low-hanging fruit on the 3rd floor of the Sky Castle, right next to the teleporter up.
This floor is usually a good dig, especially this room in particular. It's right on the route. From here, you can decide if you want to dig the chests in the north and in the east. However, they usually cost you quite a bit more time.
True, but if you do go for all of them, that is a whopping 14 chests and a very good chance of finding something very useful.
Question in chat, there's prizes? Yes, absolutely. Please see our challenge page for the current prizes being offered. There will be additional prizes announced as well as we continue on through the tournament, and those prizes will be revealed in our exhibition streams and in our bonus stream events. And yes, if you want to see Warmech, it's time to get your prayers in the chat now.
Definitely. Let's see those plus RNGs.
Tristal denying the faithful with the hero run.
True, but Demerine still has to go through the Sky Castle at some point, and a lot of these races, it's usually been the second place runner who's seen the Warmech.
I know I saw one in my tournament race last night. Tristal now coming up to Tiamat 1 with his nukes and weapon selections. It should not be any issue.
Pretty much a cakewalk, as much a one as Tiamat 1 gets. So not even an hour yet, Tristal is about to be headed into the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Sub-hour TOFR. This is an exceptional display of routing by Tristal and execution. Looks like Tristal picked up some softs there, wisely picking up softs. We don't know what could have any stone touch or stone abilities in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
True, we have not seen a ton of stone out of these enemies, so a lot of it could be hiding in TOFR for all these runners now.
Also picking up pro rings, another veteran move by Tristal here. He remembers the pro rings were there. He didn't really concern himself with them until now, so he saved time in doing so. And at just over the 57-minute mark, TristalMTG is into Temple of Fiends Revisited.
I swear this is starting to look more like a FF1 PSP time.
We're going to look to see if these are some very bad men or if they're just some okay men.
Didn't look like much of a threat. Tristal getting to level 21 on a few of his characters. It looks like he's gonna grind off a few of these enemies. Doing a lap around the floor, which ain't the worst move.
No, this definitely shows that Tristal is concerned about his levels currently. This is new to me. I've never seen Tristal make a lap around this floor. So we're seeing some new strategy from him here. I love it.
To be fair, this is probably the earliest he's ever gotten in here. He has to know that he's gotta be ahead.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to take the wipe right here. He's looking to ensure that he gets through and finishes.
And he's running into like 3 groups of gas dragons, which give an obscene amount of experience in high groups.
As Demerine is now on her way out of the waterfall, and it looks like she's going to head over to Gaia to get her Oxyale.
And picking up level 7 Fade for the White Wizard. Not the worst call. You may get a charge or 2 of it, and you never know. It might be that one thing you need to get by that tough boss.
Question in chat, what is the bonk? The bonk is the Power Gauntlet. It has the ability to cast a spell of Saber, which has been fixed in the randomizer, which increases both your hit rate and your damage, and it stacks on every use. It's a very powerful item. Still going to take out these mages in this fighter here. High experience encounters. And we are just past the 1 hour mark, so let's have a little recap. To begin, we found the canoe and the floater very early from the princess and the king respectively. The sages in the Crescent Island had the loot. Sarda had the bottle, which led to the ferry and the Oxyale. The slab was in the waterfall with the rusted robot. The Massamune was discovered in Cardia Islands, I believe. And we have also found a plethora of ribbons, one of which was in Titan's Drove. Basically, this seed opened up very quickly, and there was really no need for the open progression, as you almost immediately had access to the airship. And it was basically a matter of routing from there. So this race serves as a very clear example of how to be efficient with your routing and how to minimize wasting time in towns, in between towns and areas.
Seriously, once this is over, if you want to learn how to improve your routing, watch what Tristal's done. He's put up a bit of a mastery of it here.
Demerine now into Matoya's cave. She's going to get the dankest of herb, which never lasts long, and is going to be headed straight for the prince.
Looks like Tristal's only now decided to go to the lower floors. Must feel he has enough levels.
Yep, he's going to be diving deeper now. It'll be interesting to see if he continues to take any quick encounters on the way down, such as green Medusas. Here we go. Oh, and they ambush him, however.
And they have Stone Touch.
Oh no, that's really bad. The Medusa has a high amount of hits, which increases the chances of that Stone Touch.
That's right, it's not uncommon to see him hitting 8-10 times, even on vanilla settings.
He gets another Medusa encounter. He's going to burn a Fire 3 charge. Wisely. So as we get deeper into the Temple of Fiends here, chat, what do you think? Who's going to be the gatekeeper? Is it going to be Kraken 2? Is it going to be Tiamat 2? Could it be Carry 2? Are we going to see Nuclear, Nuke, Swirl, Poison, Tornado? There's many spells that we have not seen yet. Lich revealing a Quad X to no effect.
That's right, Quad X doesn't work on anything with higher than 300 hit points, plus all his characters should have pro rings and ribbons.
Demerine now going into the Sea Shrine. We'll see if she decides to hit the Mermaid's floor or not. Looks like she is electing not to. She will head straight down and try to defeat the Fiend of Water.
She shouldn't need to. Now that she's found the slab and everything, she should pretty much be in go.
Question in chat, what does Tristal need to push the go button? He has been in go mode for quite a while now. I think his only concern now might be his levels. We'll probably see him take another encounter or two on the way down. If not, then he might have a concern late with some of the fiends that we have yet to see. Still a lot of scary spells on the table here. We know Tristal to be extremely lucky, however, so we'll see if he prevails here and gets a smooth run to this Temple of Fiends.
There's one other thing to think about as well. We've seen ribbons drop, we've seen god tier weaponry, early nuke, early fast, but the one thing we really haven't seen is, aside from the Aegis shield, we haven't seen much high-end defensive gear.
Yeah, that's true. Granted, I think both runners do have the defense sword, but that's only going to be one character, and a critical hit will go through any evade that you have. So Absorb could definitely be something to look at here. You make a good point there, Lynn.
Both these runners should also have the white robe it was in the waterfall.
So let's take a moment to appreciate our runners here and give them the follow. They're giving us a very good show here. A very strong showing by Demerine and a masterful showing by Tristal today. I know that both are going to be looking forward to their next matchup in the Swiss rounds. I know I'll be looking forward as well, so let's give them that follow. And let's also be sure to thank our crew here at Speed Gaming. Let's give them some needed love and support. Thank you to Feasel, thank you to Cyclone for helping us with this restream tonight. And as I said, I'm getting word across the wire that we're going to be having another exhibition entrance shuffle race right here on Speed Gaming later this evening. We'll be starting that around 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern.
Question in chat, have I missed anything trolly in TOFR? Not yet. Lich was pretty pedestrian, and it looks like Carrie didn't really have much. But the real dangerous floors are yet to come. We're in the water floor now on Tristal's side, and we haven't even seen Kraken 2 or Tiamat 2 yet. Smart move by Tristal, veteran move. He's moving his mages into the high spot, especially the ones that wouldn't be able to cast life. If Kraken does turn out to hit like a truck, they're largely disposable.
Alright, we're going to get our first look at the squid here. We'll see how Tristal adapts to this battle. He's wisely moving his knight to the bottom slot. You should always do this with the character you think gives you the best chance at finishing off the temple, and that's usually your high physical attacker.
Kraken starting off with a rub, which does nothing. And this Kraken didn't appear to have much in the way of hit points. And now switching the Mazamune onto the Knight, which is a smart move. The Tiamat and Chaos do not really have exploitable weaknesses, so the Mazamune will outperform the Excalibur.
Yeah, that Kraken 2 had sub 600 hit points, so definitely no gatekeeper there.
Tiamat proven to be a little bit on the beefy side, though. Just saw 9 hits for 89 damage.
Wow, that came from Massa too. So definitely appears Tiamat 2 has rolled some high absorb. He's going to need some critical hits and some high rolls on his spells.
And hit like a truck, almost one-shotting that red mage.
Looking at enemy stats, this Tiamat 2 could have upwards of 2,000 hit points. However, we discover that is not the case, and Tristal is through.
Down on the Chaos floor now, moving old Garland back and doing his final preparations.
Demerine has the Orb of Water lit, and it looks like she's heading over to get her chime right now.
And Chaos showing not much absorb as right off the bat before any spells can be cast to boost offense. 5 hits for about 500 damage.
Wow, this has just been the smoothest run, I think, that I have seen in a very long time.
Absolutely, and Tristal has shown his mastery of the game, approaching it almost perfectly.
I swear this seed was generated randomly, everybody.
And Chaos goes down, and I bet you never thought you would see this. Sub 111 on the NES version, even randomized.
GG to Tristal, official SRL time. 1 hour, 10 minutes, 57 seconds. A masterful run, and I'm getting word that it could be a personal best for him as well. So couldn't have asked for a better seed to start the tournament for our tournament champion Tristal. Well done, excellent display, sir. We are going to try and get Tristal in here for a post-race interview. If you have any questions for Tristal, please send them on over in the chat now, and we will get them asked to him. A mere 150 battles with 12 ambushes. Look at these numbers here. This is astounding. Tristal putting the rest of the entrants on notice.
He's champion of the last tournament, co-champion of the league for a reason. Give him a jet seed, and you see what happens.
So this is the best time so far in the Swiss first round of the tournament. We have, I believe, 2 or 3 more matches remaining in the first round, and then we will be moving on to the second round. So it's been a really twisted web that has been woven throughout the first round. We've had a lot of surprises, we've had a lot of upsets, we've had some tragedy, we've had some, you know, the peaks, the lows. We've seen it all in this first round, and we still have 5-6 weeks more coming before we even get to the bracket stages. And it appears that we do have Tristal now. GG, sir. What a masterful display of routing and technique. The seed did help you out a little bit, but you definitely took advantage of it. How are you feeling? We should have him on the mic shortly. I think he's still setting up.
Absolute jet seed. There's no other way to really put it.
Yeah, I forgot about that whole push to talk thing. Sorry about that. Yeah, GG's. Yeah, lots of insane luck, mostly in the form of level 1 nuke.
Level 1 nuke, getting both the canoe and the floater out of Canaria Castle, and it only got even more absurd from there.
Yeah, Mazmunin, Cardia Isles, and early Adamant anyway, just in case. So, yeah, that canoe and floater kind of just gave me a sigh of relief, knowing I wouldn't have to dive Ice Cave for floater or something like that. I could take my time, get treasures before I had to do anything too meaningful. So the only real trick was getting from Elfland to the airship without any camping equipment. I was sort of banking on Elfland having any of it for sale, and then it didn't. So it was sort of awkward, but really not that bad.
We found out where the third ribbon is as Demerine's digging, finding it in the second floor of Mirage.
We have questions from the chat for you, Tristal. Question from Cyclone GU. What was your reaction to getting everything in 10 minutes?
Yeah, I had a little double take when I looked at my timer and I noticed I was flying through the air 8 minutes into the seed, so that was fun.
Sub-level 10 class changes. I mean, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, it sort of didn't matter. I mean, Excalibur early was kind of nice, but we got Mazmune right away too, so that sort of didn't matter, and I don't think I ever cast a spell as my knight. So really the only things that got me were Aegis Shield and White Shirt on the White Wizard, I think.
Well,
Question from... Go ahead.
I was saying a question for you, Czar, in chat from Forzando. How many bits to bribe to not get Tristal in round 2?
I do not accept bribes. As administrator, I have to maintain a clean slate at all times. So nice try there, Sforzando, but denied. A question from Drumbordist for Tristal. When you say I will be done in 30 minutes, how do you season the tyro steak that you eat for the next 20 minutes?
I mean, it didn't take me that long to eat the Tyro steaks, right? Nuke is easy.
Yeah, it was steak and wings, as I recall. You served us up rather early.
Yeah, quite a few servings of it. I caught some wyverns and some worms, and at least 3 Tyros, I think. Yeah, they just kind of got in my way. I was willing to fight almost anything just to get some experience. Obviously, you guys saw I had to sit in TOFR a little bit and munch on some gas dragons as well, just to get enough HP to feel more comfortable. There were no life spells that I saw, so that can get kind of awkward. I want to try and buffer my HP as much as I can, and gas dragons from 20 to 22 really don't take too long. I find it's probably worth it to do to get just a few more HP so I can have higher percentage on surviving a nuke.
Yeah, really the only gate in your way this whole run has been your levels.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything, I mean, that's about as smooth as everything can go, to be honest. Aside from not having a life spell, I guess.
Question from Septimus. Did you consider skipping the TOFR grind after seeing the bosses? Do you feel like you should have skipped out on at least some of the leveling?
That's sort of a hindsight is 2020 question. I've found in practice that sometimes level 20 is enough, but especially without a source of life, I didn't want to take too many chances in TOFR. Given the run I was having, one of the only ways for me to lose is to just constantly try and dive TOFR at level 20 and fail a bunch of times against, you know, like a nuke Kraken or something like that. So better to take a few minutes, get a couple levels, and get some spree on max HP.
Nice, very good sound strategy there. Very good. Question from All-Star Bunny. New to speedrunning here. What made you pick FF1 to speedrun the randomizer, Tristal?
Me personally, I mean, I've been playing Final Fantasy since it came out on the NES. Way back in '91, I think I got it. So it's always been one of my favorite RPGs to play in general. And then when the randomizer came out, that's right in my wheelhouse. I'm a veteran of games like NetHack and Castle of the Winds, things that are you know, random to their core already. So combining the two was just a dream come true.
Another question in chat from aka Mitsuki666. What's your favorite set of classes to take into a rando race?
That's sort of hard to say overall. In my past, I've definitely been on Team Black Belt quite a bit, but for these Swiss flags, I don't feel like I really need the black belt crutch to get through the end game, like I do with previous tournament flags. So, I mean, anything with Black Mage is okay by me, honestly. Black Mage, I think, is my favorite class overall. So hopefully you guys vote Black Mage for the 4-person team at the end of the tournament as well. I would actually enjoy playing 4 Black Mages, I think.
As we see, Demerine running into some trouble with these errors here, revealing they have poison damage.
Not good at all. There ain't much that blocks against that. Just the ribbons and I believe the Aegis.
So we are just over the hour and 20-minute mark. Demerine is going to finish up Tiamat here and head into the Temple of Fiends shortly. Again, if you like what you see here, please check out our Discord. We have all the latest there in regards to schedules for the tournament, information, new player help. We have off-topic. Just come mingle with the community. See if you find something you like here. We can help you get started on the randomizer, or just be a part of as a viewer. Vote in our polls. There's always something going on, always something interesting, exciting at the randomizer and at the Discord. So come check us out if you like what you see here today.
And checking chat, thank you for the 8-month sub, Ruble. I'm sure all of us here at Speed Gaming definitely appreciate it.
Demerine is through Tiamat, and she will now be headed to the Temple of Fiends. Still a very good showing, a solid time here from her in her first foray into the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament.
No doubt, an extremely respectable time by any standard.
We have Tristal in the chat now, so if you have any additional questions for him, please feel free to ask, and he will answer you directly.
You know, I kind of actually like that Demerine's still going. It drags it out a little bit, gets to see my sprite work more.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, she's got all 4 orbs at an hour 22, and in most cases, that's really, really good. So keep going, and good luck, I guess.
Definitely, as this tournament goes on, she's proving she's no slouch.
Yeah, it's always interesting from my perspective to race people that I've never seen race before. It's always, you know, some guesswork as to how quick they're going to end up being, and Demerine's showing she's definitely got the skills to be in this tournament for sure.
Question in chat, what game do you want to see get a randomizer, Tristal?
Oh, that's pretty tough. Let me think about that for 2 minutes. Let me get back to you.
Tristal making another good point is it's another thing to know your randomizer, know all the ins and outs, routing experience. It's another thing to know your opponent, as if you are playing an opponent you have observed, you can kind of get to know their strats, and as the seed develops and you see how things are developing, you can have much better guesswork on, okay, they will usually make this play, so I can save time by maybe skipping this or not leveling as much, and you have to adapt this to your opponent as well.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to think of games that don't already have randomizers that I really enjoy.
Admittedly, I haven't been keeping up with all the randomizers over the past few months. I've kind of been taking a break, but one I would like to see is a randomizer for the original Breath of Fire for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Actually, yeah, to partially answer that question, so one rando I've been playing off and on, just casually, there is a Super Metroid / A Link to the Past combined randomizer, where you switch back and forth between the games and, you know, collect missiles in Kakariko Town and, you know, things like that. I would love to see more collaborations that work like that, perhaps among NES games if possible, or really anything else. I think that's a really, really creative space that is begging to be explored.
Demerine going to check the validation chests here. She finds a house and a negligible amount of gold.
I've seen that Super Metroid Link to the Past, Rando. I would try it out if I knew the first thing about Link to the Past.
I think obviously the combination that would play most to my strengths is the combo Dragon Warrior / Final Fantasy Randomizer. But I don't know exactly how well that would necessarily play out. I think Dragon Warrior has some potential to get randomized with other games. I just don't know that it fits very well with Final Fantasy necessarily.
As we see Cyclone and Feasel in the chat, thank you again, guys, for allowing us to broadcast these events on Speed Gaming, and for the exhibition to go down later tonight. I'll have more information for you shortly on that. Demerine now making her way to the Earth floor here, and we'll see if she's going to run into some trouble with those green Medusas. What did you think when they started hitting with Stone Touch, knowing that they have high hit, Tristal?
I mean, it was sort of annoying, but I did have the Aegis Shield and 2 ribbons, so not a huge concern.
She does end up getting Stone Touch there. I do hope that she has a soft spell or some softs.
Looks like she had a decent amount of softs. And we didn't see much stone from the remaining floors.
Okay, she did buy softs, so again, that's a practice move there. She had 13 softs available. She was ready coming into TFR, knowing that it could happen, and she was prepared for it.
Yeah, I've absolutely made the mistake of not having enough soft potions in a time where I needed them. And that's usually a mistake you only make once, I feel. So it's good to see Demarine's, at the very least, showing that she's got the practice down.
It's really a principle you take to heart if you play any Final Fantasy game, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's always that urge when you're, especially in a race where you just want to be as fast as possible and you think, well, maybe I don't need to stop into this town to find soft potions. Maybe I can just, skate around without them.
Bypassing the safety strat will come back to bite ya.
It's happened many times to me. I have a terrible habit of over-preparing, and 60 to 70% of the time it's needed, but the 30% that I don't need it is usually ending up working out to that 60-70% that I think I do need it.
Fire's bringing the heat, but fortunately runnable.
So were you tempted to dig for the Power Gauntlet at any point, Tristal?
Given that I had Fast and Temper, not really. Honestly, Defense Sword would have been more tempting, especially since my Knight really didn't have great armor. I never found anything better than Iron Armor. So that was sort of worrisome, but in the end it was alright.
Okay, so the Defense Sword was not found then. I think Tracker must have thought it was the Sun Sword.
Yeah, I got the Sun Sword, I did not get the Defense Sword.
Yeah, it didn't end up being a big factor. I know that Ruse was level 7 white magic. So fortunately there was no really hard-hitting fiend and they were focused on spells. It was just a really smooth run overall. I don't think either runner encountered any trouble at any point.
Okay, so I'm getting word that the sword that's marked in the tracker, and this would be correct, is actually X-Cal.
Oh, that's the sword I see is the defense sword. Excalibur is denoted by the adamant. So once you have the adamant, you know, you can get Excalibur.
Yeah, it can get a little confusing, although honestly the only sword that really matters is Mazmune, so it seems a little... I mean, especially, I think Vorpal's on the tracker. I'm really not sure why. Like, you might as well put the Great Axe on the tracker. There's no point in putting the Vorpal on the tracker. Come on, now, Czar.
Hey, no need to be insulting.
Coming from someone who won key races using Vorpal over Massa in the past, I'm surprised, Tristal.
It's just a meme sword, that's all it is.
Like all things mystical and magical, there is always a certain amount of skepticism with them.
Yeah, I've definitely got my superstitions about FF, so...
And again, that's why we want your vote, people. We need to decide what is the best knight sword overall. Is it Massa? Is it Excalibur? Is it the defense sword, which can... You know, the defense sword has a critical rate, and stacked it can be quite powerful, along with giving you the ability to dodge physicals. So get your votes in and let us know.
Defense's critical rate is actually kind of terrible.
Ooh, Tiamat as Nuke.
Yeah, there's the Trisluk showing up, not seeing Nuke at all. Nice survive for all the mages there, though.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse.
Oh my god, heal before you get to chaos! Oh, that walk in air made me just, cringe so hard. Oh my god, I've made that mistake before too. And then suddenly a bunch of wizard vampires decide they want you for lunch.
Yeah, the air floor is just nasty.
Yeah, let's just assume Demerine had already figured out the encounter table and knew what she was doing, though, since she didn't fight anything on the way.
She's playing with our emotions here.
Chaos trying to rub that white mage at the start, and she ain't having none of it.
She has Exfer. Will we see a Zap Exfer strat here, or something of that nature?
Question in chat, what's the weakest sword someone has won with? Well, in an earlier game we saw runners have to take on Chaos with the ice sword.
The answer is Vorpal, Czar.
House of Lies and Slander. The Church of the Vorpal grows every day.
Not according to the poll.
We're still early. I still have time to awaken the masses and get them woke.
Defense is Knight, Ninja, and Red Wizard, at least as far as using it as a weapon goes. And Demerine is done with a respectable time of 1 hour 34 minutes. Looks like 20 seconds.
We're going to get Demerine in here for a post-race interview. Very respectable time. A very strong showing today against one of our best runners overall. I would definitely not want to draw her in the next round. So we looked at your stats there after you completed your run, Tristal, and the numbers were just ridiculously low. I don't think I've ever seen a run with these flags finish with such low numbers.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to take a look at them. I'll have to go back and check out the VOD. Demerines look pretty insane as well.
I think you had 150 battles overall.
That's pretty crazy, especially since there wasn't any encounter table power off manip to do.
Hi.
It looks like we are joined by Demerine now. Welcome, Demerine. GG, great showing today. We can tell you've been practicing. Tell us about your run there. I understand it's a PB for you as well.
Yeah, 10-minute personal best. I've been practicing a lot and, caught a really nice seed there, actually, all things considered. I figured I was going to not get the win, but at least I was going to do what I wanted to do, which was finish and post a time that might just let everyone know I've been doing some work, so we'll see.
Yes, very nicely done. I think we were all impressed with your routing and how you adapted to, such an early floater and airship. You could have gone so many places to lose so much time, yet you didn't. If we have any questions for Demerine in chat, please proceed.
Yeah, nice work with an absolute jet seed.
So how does it compare to Free Enterprise, would you say?
Free Enterprise I picked up really quickly because we love our no encounters over there. I will be the first to say that. I'm like the only person who's like excited when we play with encounters. So Free Enterprise is really a routing test a lot of the time. Like I sit and I try to optimize the first 20 minutes, and here it's like I don't know what I'm gonna get. I can't really optimize the first 20 minutes. It's really about play as you go, and you have to sort of make those calls in regards to things like popcorn packs and grinding, and there's a lot going on that's not going on in Free Enterprise, but there's a lot that goes on in Free Enterprise in terms of blocker bosses and equipment and items because there's a ton of them. So they're two different games in a lot of ways, but they're both a lot of fun.
Well, definitely glad you're having fun with it. We got a question from Files. Why 2 red mages and not 4? And then he says no kappa.
Couldn't roll for me red mages. There was a white mage required. I went with a different meme. I went for Macedonian White Mage, actually, which I was very pleased with, even though it's probably not optimal. It was a hell of a lot of fun.
Question from Chrism Phoenix. Why did you let me die so much?
There's only 3 ribbons in the seed.
Question from Cyclone. Did you undertake any special preparations to go against Tristal?
I actually remembered something that Rivers McCown said, the #1 Free Enterprise / well-known Final Fantasy IV runner, mentioned that you never make the race about the other person. That's just a surefire way to psych yourself out and get yourself into trouble and just not run your race and do what you're capable of doing. And I was very proud because I was capable of showing what I was able to do. It was an absolute jet seed. When I saw the time come in, I'm like, yeah, 111. That's about right. I mean, not much I could do about that other than run my race then. So I wanted to finish out strong and get down to the bottom of Beans Revisited.
Do you feel that you gained a lot of knowledge and experience from this run?
I feel like that I can definitely execute. There's some routing issues I think I have in terms of kind of going back and forth between North and South Continent, a little bit of map knowledge that I still need to put together. But in regards to things like popcorn packs and getting my experience, I mean, for 134, that's the first time I've gone into Fiends like above 21 with a shot to crack like 135. So it was good. I wish I had more armor is really it. I didn't find gold bracelets and didn't care to at that point. I just rolled the dice a little bit at the end. But gold bracelets being super, super important, I guess, and I need to be better about getting them.
Yeah, this was a fairly armor-light seed.
Yeah, I didn't end up getting gold bracelets at all. They were really expensive. I think they were 65, 535, and I want to say they were in Gaia, but don't quote me on that.
So as we prepare to wrap up here, any final thoughts from our runners? First of all, Tristal, would you like to give us some final thoughts on this race and moving into round 2?
Yeah, I want to give props to Demerine straight off. 134 is still a really great time in these tournament seeds. I wish you lots of luck in future rounds. Sorry you had to go up against my PB time this round, but I think you'll do pretty well in the future.
All right, Demerine, reply to that and your thoughts on moving on to the next round as well.
Well, thank you so much for being encouraging, Tristal. This community has been nothing but great. Obviously, thanks to Silverfire, who got me into it. Split Punched has been working with me on my runs in practice, so I've had a couple of good practice partners to talk to, and I really hope to just keep it up. And of course, Tristal, I'm just the first one on the road to 5-0, so good luck and keep going.
And again, thank you for participating, and we look forward to the next round. Tara Lynn, any final thoughts?
Well, thanks to Tristal for showing off a masterful run of this absolute jet of a seed, and thanks to Demerine as well for representing for the girls. Very respectable time.
All right, well, and I'd like to thank everyone as well. Runners, Tracker, Commentary, Speed Gaming, Feasel, Cyclone, Maya, everyone, FFR community. Come check out the community, everybody. We've got another exciting race coming on later tonight for everyone. Again, that's going to be starting at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. This will be an exhibition entrance shuffle event, something you don't want to miss. So make sure you come right back here for that. And that said, go vote in the polls, and we will see you all here again soon. Thank you so much, Speed Gaming. Team Stake.